At last we'll reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we'll have revenge. At last it'll be a Darth Maul leak. Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We're talking Darth Maul today for Star Wars Legion, and my dog is barking because I clapped my hands. She thinks I'm calling her. Anyway, Darth Maul leaks for Star Wars Legion straight out of Germany. We're going to be talking about this today. It's a little warm, though, because I'm not in Germany. I am in Florida, and it's very hot in Florida, so let me take some of this stuff off. A little admin stuff while I'm getting set up. There's still, all month long, we got the ARC Trooper giveaway going on right now, so make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment. It's as simple as that. If you want to support the channel by getting a shirt or a mask or any other merchandise or any of that stuff, or following me on social media or checking out Crabbok.com that has more details for all the giveaways that are going on, all that stuff is going to be down in the video description, so be sure to check all of that stuff out. All right, so we're going to be talking about these Legion leaks today. We already talked about Anakin in the last video. We're going to talk about Darth Maul today. There's more leaks out there also, too. There's a whole bunch of Star Wars Armada leaks for the Squadron packs that are coming for the Clone Wars. I've talked about those recently. Also, I'm going to be talking about the Specialist expansion packs too in a future video. So stay tuned for all kinds of reasons for you to stay subscribed and click that little bell for alerts, all kinds of cool stuff. Darth Maul is part of these leaks. They kind of leaked this insert that's going to be inside, like the rules insert. It tells you like some of the building diagrams. We're going to take a look at some of this stuff. We got those little probe droids, those little Sith droids. Same flight stand that we've been seeing. You know, and that's pretty cool. Again, it doesn't look like they're giving you actual instructions on how to put them together. They're just kind of showing you the pieces and showing them put together. Granted, they're not the hardest things in the world to put together, but with some of the larger models like the ATRT or whatever, for newer people, not everybody who plays Star Wars Legion is a hobby expert. Some people who play Star Wars Legion are like newer to it. It's some people's first game. It's my first game, I think, that I had to really build the details of the miniature. So I sympathize with a lot of the newer folks who are not that familiar with Star Wars Legion and putting all this stuff together without instructions. So when I do my unboxings, it's one of the things that I do is like, here, we're going to assemble this. Here's how it goes. So now, granted, I guess they recently did. They put some of the instructions up, which is kind of cool. Here's some more. Okay. That's cool that we get some of that stuff. But we also get the contents list and the new rules insert. So we're really going to be talking about this today because now all of this is in German. It was posted on the Asmodee Germany site, which is pretty cool. But I want to give a big thanks to Eternal RMG for actually doing a lot of the translating for the stuff that we're going to be seeing on here. This pretty cool stuff, and you know, honestly, that like similar to like I think the German people are really cool. I mean, I've been to Germany a couple of times for work. It's some of my favorite beer in the world, some of my favorite food in the world. Some of the nicest people in the world, and in the German community has always been really exceptionally great at offering help. I've gotten a lot of messages and emails and stuff with the Armada leaks saying, hey, do you want help translating? It's been overwhelming. I probably haven't even replied back to everybody who has. So thank you to everybody who has been reaching out, which is very, very cool. So for what we're going to be seeing with Darth Maul and the droids, the command cards are going to be Duel of the Fates, Phantom Menace, and Finally. I kind of thought that might have been like At Last as opposed to Finally. Again, that could be a translation thing. You know, this isn't the final English names, but either way, it still kind of boils down to things that Darth Maul will say. He doesn't have a whole lot of things that he says in the movies. Granted, he says a lot more in the Clone Wars animated series, right? For the upgrades, it does look like we're getting the two new Force upgrades, Seize the Initiative and Force Barrier, as well as Comms Jammer. Force Barrier is likely going to be some kind of shieldy type thing, or some kind of damage reduction capability, which sounds pretty cool. And then Seize the Initiative, which could be training or force, is likely going to be some type of way to tie somebody else. So a lot of people think it's going to be cunning on a single card. It may be. It may just straight up let you go first. Likely going to be a one-time per game. Doesn't look like we're getting offensive or defensive stance with this particular pack, which is a little bit strange. I thought that we would get offensive and defensive stance here. Or maybe offensive stance and defense. Maybe I'm just having a brain fart right now and it's a light side only.
So we're also going to be getting incognito markers and observation tokens, and I think that's going to be kind of interesting because I feel like we haven't gotten incognito markers before, even though other people can be incognito. So like that's pretty interesting. So something here is going to be able to go incognito. Some people have thought that it's going to be a divulge because we're also getting divulge as part of what we're able to see here. So like a command card that's going to have a divulge ability. People are thinking, wait a second, is Darth Maul going to be able to infiltrate and go incognito by on the first turn of the game? And I think that might be a little bit too strong. I think that might be a little too strong. What I think is more likely, I think, is that the Sith droids are going to be able to go incognito. I don't think Darth Maul is going to go incognito. He kind of stands out. I don't think he's going to be able to be like, oh, no, I'm just a tattooed black and red Zabrak with a giant black cloak. Nothing to see here. Like he's anything but incognito. He's cognito. He's cognoodoo. He's cognoodle. The most ultimate Sith pasta. What? I try so hard to make the dad jokes terrible sometimes that I actually succeed. That was really terrible. Cognoodle. Anyway, Darth Maul is probably not. My guess is he's not going to be incognito. I think it's his droids. His droids make a lot more sense because they were kind of like just lurking, like, oh, I'm spying on you, but you can't see me. That's kind of what I think about that. The observation tokens, however, we get some clarification on how observation tokens work. It says, during an attack, the attacker can spend observation tokens belonging to the defender to re-roll an attack for each token spent. Observation markers are discarded at the end of the round. An attack die for each token spent. So basically, it's like an observation token is like half as good as an aim token, but it goes on a defender, so anyone in theory can spend it, which is really interesting. It's not at all what I thought. I thought it was going to boil into like field artillery or dealing with cover or suppression or line of sight. I thought it was going to allow you to ignore line of sight somehow. I was totally wrong about that. Basically, it's if you spend an observation token on a defender, you get to reroll one die. Now that can stack with aim tokens. But I think it probably works best for somebody who needed the extra dice support that didn't happen to have it. Especially for, we know that separatists are also going to be getting this, and we'll talk more about that when it comes to separatists. As far as the Darth Maul is a separatist, but like the separatist droid packs are also going to be able to get this. But I think this is just good for a lot of separatist armies, especially that are full of AI, and in cases where people might not be able to, to be able to just, have everybody with an order. You may be stuck not being able to aim and shoot. You may be having to move and shoot. So this kind of can give at least one unit the opportunity to move and shoot and have a reroll, at least one reroll. That could be great. I think a single observation token is going to be best for those folks that have red dice, though. The red dice in your attack pool is one of those things where a lot of times you don't need to just waste an action doing an aim. And granted, clones have no problem doing this because, hey, they can take an aim, and if they don't need it, somebody else gets to use it. Well, this is kind of a way for separatists to kind of get some of that same feeling, right? Like, hey, if I don't need it, you can use it. And if you don't need it, the next person can use it. But then once somebody uses it, then it's gone. Well, that's kind of the same feel that the clones have. Here, so I think this is going to maybe, work along with maybe B2s or some, or anybody who can get red dice in their attack pool that maybe doesn't need as much the aim. If presumably Darth Maul is going to have some red dice with his lightsaber, if he wants to do saber throwing this, maybe he doesn't want to aim. Maybe he just wants to throw some red dice. I know, like, how many times I'll use Darth Vader as an example here. How many times have you done a saber throw with Darth Vader? You didn't want to really aim, right? Because he's like, I'm throwing 3 red dice. They ought to be all hits. And you got like 2 hits and 1 blank. And I'm like, I got pierced 3, but I've only got 2 damage. Well, that's a perfect opportunity to spend an observation token, because you don't want to spend a whole aim because you're not going to need to reroll 2 dice. So I really, really like the idea of red attack dice being combined with observation tokens. And so, granted, with the clones, a lot of them don't have red dice. There's not a whole lot of red dice with the clones unless you get really up close. But, and you can do frag grenades or Rex or things like that, or lightsabers. but they're more often than not rolling black dice and then white with the Z6s. But man, it's just, I mean, granted, I'm not saying droids as a whole have a whole lot of red dice, but there are some upgrades that can give you those. And, you know, and if you find yourself in those positions where you're going to get more and more red dice, this is a nice way to do it. Especially, or the tanks, too. Tanks don't necessarily always want to aim and shoot either. So, it's a cool idea, especially when they get ionized. Boom. All right. So that's a lot of talk about observation tokens, which is pretty cool. And I'd love to hear from you guys what you think about the observation tokens. I don't think they're overly strong. I think they're pretty cool. And I guess one of the other questions is, do you think that they're going to be a separatist only thing? Do you think that we'll see observation tokens for other factions based on this usability? I don't think the clones will get it. I don't see a whole lot of reason for clones to have it right now. Maybe in the future when there are a lot more core options that are not clone troopers. So if we start seeing like Naboo Guard or Gungans and things like that, there might be a little bit more viability there. But I think it's not necessary for the clones right now. I think the Empire, while they do have the ability to do have some aim tokens, like I said with Darth Vader, like I wouldn't mind having it as a Viper droid or an Imperial probe droid, being able to do that, comboing with Vader, who doesn't always want to take an aim. Observation token could be great for that. If Vader doesn't need it, well, then that Stormtrooper, then those guys can do it, or whatever. Or if you want to do Vader with fire support from a mortar or something. Oh my goodness, I'm really kind of going really far on the observation token thing here. But no, I think that is pretty cool. So so Maul. Maul's got divulge. He's got infiltrate, disengage. I think we already talked about disengage being on one of his 1-pips. So they talked about that a little bit. So he can do a lot of because he's got 2 1-pips and a 2-pip. And then of course there's rules for detachment, which the Sith droids are going to have. There's rules for expend, which is likely going to be seize the initiative, is what a lot of people think. He's got Jedi Hunter too. So it means when he is attacking Jedi, he's going to have Surge to crit, which is nice. I wonder, if you already have Surge to crit, and you also then gain Jedi Hunter, does that give you Surge to double crit? Of course not, but should it though? I think it should. I'm curious if Maul is going to have Surge to hit normally, because Jedi Hunters, like, it's one of those things that's in there for fluff, and that certainly was part of the role he played. But so many people just running clones and Rex and stuff like that like Jedi Hunter is becoming less and less important. Obviously, since we're probably getting a Jedi wave, hopefully it will be more important, which will be a really big feels bad if you run Darth Maul and Grievous together and you got 2 Jedi Hunters and you end up not facing any Jedi. Then you're gonna be like, Krah! But so that's basically it for Darth Maul's rules. The big things that struck me is my big takeaways from this are the rules for the observation token and also the incognito marker, which is like, okay, is that K2SO's picture on there? Because you didn't give us one with K2SO. Or did we get one and I just threw mine out? Because I don't have one. I certainly don't have one of those for K2SO. But maybe I got the not the right cardboard. Now I actually have to go back and watch my K2 Cassian and K2 unboxing and see if there was an incognito marker in there, because I don't remember having an incognito marker in there. That's just so bizarre. Anyway, the random things I think about while making a video. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out the video description for more links, for more information, Crabbok.com, Patreon, Discord, social media, t-shirt shop, all of that stuff. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment, enter to win those ARC Troopers. And I will talk to you guys later. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I could not do this without you. So thank you so much for your continued support, and I will talk to you soon. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.